Welcome to Let's Talk Petty. We are not petty, but we talk about it.
In a recap show.
It's really bothering me. I can't remember the song I want. I'm Kate.
I'm Andrew. And Kate is not going to Houdinize her way out of this episode.
Was I trying to?
Seems like it.
I was?
No.
Okay.
Maybe.
No, I definitely was not.
Are you excited that our season is ending?
Yes.
I'm not. I'm sad.
Why are you sad? We had a good first season.
We did. We talked about a lot of fun, petty things. We learned a lot of amazing things.
A lot. I learned so much stuff that I had no clue was even a thing or that had happened, which I like.
I even learned things that I was looking up because I didn't even know about them. They just looked like interesting stories.
Yeah.
So what would you say was your favorite episode that we did?
I can't
Not the one that I did, but the one that you researched. What was your favorite episode that you researched?
Oh. I don't know.
Come on, you've got to have one. One that you were writing it out in your notes and you were just like, I can't believe this. Because there were plenty of times where you were reading things and looking things up and laughing and you're like, this is going to be so good.
Well, all of them were so good. That's too hard to pick.
Too hard to pick.
I don't even know. Oh God, there was so many hilarious and funny and things that just blew my mind. I guess if I had to choose, I'm gonna pick the crazy. It's so hard. The crazy diaper lady, astronaut lady.
She was nuts.
It's so hard to choose. It's either her or Wanda. But I feel like an astronaut doing such crazy things it blew my mind. How much stuff after all of the things that we heard in the news, that the things that people remember first weren't even accurate. And then how much stuff was just kind of like just pushed to the side as not a big deal. The fact that this lady drove across the country to murder someone.
So you were big into your
crazy
true crime petty episodes.
I don't know if I was a big into them as much as it blew my mind, the things that happened with them.
Who would you say is your pettiest person? If you had to say, you did what, 12 episodes? 12 episodes, I think. What would you say was your pettiest person?
I don't know.
No?
I have no idea. They were all so ridiculous.
It is hard to choose. I was thinking about it and I've got such a hard time. I mean, even going all the way back to the Houdini episode, just the letters that those two wrote back and forth to each other and just how passive aggressive they were and just trying to slap each other in the face with the letters. Even just little things like that are just so petty and ridiculous that they do. And then, of course, everyone's favorite, Elon Musk.
Well, he's just ridiculous.
I think he's in a class. Would you say he's in a class by himself?
Yes, because of how much he's been in the news lately. He's doing one ridiculous thing after another. I don't know what is going on. Is he having a midlife crisis? Is he just like, you know what? I really like being in the news, so I'm going to act insane so that I'm always in the news, because that's one way to get in the news.
I would not put that past him that thought goes in his mind.
It's weird.
Because what are some of the, Twitter obviously is one of the big ones where he's like, I'm going to buy it and change the world. Nope, just kidding. And then says all these things about it where he's saying how they have all the bots and everything else and real petty about all the things he says about it. And then it comes out that he's got like 89 kids with 95 women.
Wait a minute. 89 kids with 95 women. I mean,
there were 6 of them that shared a pregnancy.
That's something to brag about.
You said he wanted to get in the news, so he knows how.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick the pettiest person for me, I'm going to pick, I'll have to pick Holloway.
Why would you? I would never
Holloway.
have guessed her to be your pettiest. Why would you say she was the pettiest?
Because it was such a dumb thing that she was so concerned over. Other people, they were fighting over definitely really stupid things, but she was
the cheerleader mom.
Yes, she was going to commit murder over cheerleading. I don't know if you can beat that level of petty.
It's definitely up there on the scale.
It's insane petty.
To think, I mean, every parent wants to support their kids. Every parent's going to stand up for their kids. But to think about the fact that you're willing to murder someone else's kid so that your kid can be on the cheerleading squad, the first team of the cheerleaders, is definitely another level.
Yeah, it's weird.
Definitely another level. So I know another one that I did that you have very strong opinions about is our good friends Anish Kapoor and Stuart Semple.
Yep.
So after doing that episode, thinking about it, what are your look back thoughts on that and their whole fiasco?
I am going to maintain that it's still more on.
Wait, first, are you going to maintain that if we ever get a pet, you're going to name it Anish Kapoor?
Yes.
Another pet?
Yes.
That'll be debatable. We'll talk about that.
No, you said that I could. You cannot go back on that.
Well,
no.
I'm going back on that.
No, you're not. I mean, you can say you're going back on that, but I don't care. I'll still do it.
Maybe one name or the other, but not both.
You can't call a pet just Anish.
You could Kapoor.
It sounds really cool, but it's not as cool as Anish Kapoor.
Okay. And for anyone that hasn't listened to our old episodes yet, well,
I would hope that they would have listened to the episode.
Otherwise, you're going to be really lost on this episode. But if you haven't and you want to go back and listen to it, it's about two artists. One of them, which tried to claim the Black is Black for himself and would not let anyone else use it until Stuart Semple came in and says, I'm going to make my own.
Mm-hmm. And now there is a black group.
And now there's a black 2.0. There's a white 2.0.
So now Anish Kapoor can't say that he has the blackest black, which we found out from another podcast. Who arted.
Yes.
It's a good podcast.
For sure.
I'm not into art.
But it's informative.
Much, but it is interesting.
It's an interesting listen. Everyone should listen to that. And of course, his thing now that he's into raging against Semple is NFTs.
What's that?
The whole non-fungible art things that people buy online.
Don't know what you're talking about. No clue what you're talking about.
Have you never heard of an NFT?
Well, I am like doing my stuff and I read certain things on the internet and I read the news and stuff. So if it's not on my immediate radar of the news, I'm not going to know about it.
All right, I'm going to start in our off time from our regular podcast here. Other than our mini episodes that we put out, I'm going to start an NFT podcast, and I want you to subscribe to it and listen to it, and it's going to be all specifically for you.
Okay, I still don't know what it is. What is it?
I can't really explain them. It's a digital thingy. People buy them, they invest in them, they're allegedly going to be worth money.
A digital thingy.
Art.
That's how you're going to explain it?
Digital art.
Okay, what about it?
Why are we going off on this tangent on digital art?
What?
We're going off on this tangent. I can't give a detailed explanation.
Is it a non-fungible token?
Yes.
Okay, we're going off on a tangent because first off, you are going to make me sound like a moron because I don't know what an NFT is. And then your description of it is
amazing.
Terrible.
No, you mispronounced amazing.
Terrible. And then you're going to be like, why are we just still discussing this? You don't understand? That's like when I'm like, the thingy for what's his face. That's like me getting annoyed at you for you not understanding my what's his face and what.
Kind of like the recap song you were trying to remember.
Exactly.
The song about recaps on the show.
About recaps on that show. And then, so you're not going to understand, and
The
I'm allowed
difference
to be
is
like,
I
what?
knew that immediately.
No, you did not. You didn't know what I was talking about. As you shouldn't, because my explanation was terrible. As is your explanation of what
I guess
NFT
I just
is.
assumed everyone has heard of at least the phrase NFT at some point in their reading, some point in seeing news, hearing about news. But that's his new thing that I was just reading about is he's fighting against people with NFTs. And
Who
rightly
is fighting
so,
against?
Simple.
Oh,
Rightly
Simple is?
so,
Okay.
because NFTs are kind of ridiculous.
Yes. They look, just from the little bit,
They're just digital art.
just the little bit that I'm looking at here, it looks not great. So I can see why he would not like that.
Well, again, it's a whole proprietary thing that I think the whole proprietary thing that he's fighting against with them.
Mm.
Kind of like the whole proprietary thing with Vanta Black.
Or selling a large mirrored bean for millions of dollars.
Which we will be going to see in a few weeks.
Maybe that's why Simple is like really so. Maybe he's said it in one of his things online and I just never saw it. But I mean, I would like to go on a rant of how I just do not find that artistic. A huge bean that is mirrored and then a mirror that looks up at the sky. Whatever. I'm not going to go on my rant again.
Wait until we go to the bean.
Not going to go on my rant.
Wait until we go there. You are going, of all of us, anyone that goes, you are going to be the person, wow, this is so amazing after all these rants you've gone on about the bean. You almost can't like it now.
No. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to look at what looks like online a giant coffee bean and be like, wow.
But what if it's a real life in-person coffee bean and you're amazed by it?
It's not, because I've seen pictures of it. So, no.
Fair enough. And of
Why
course,
are we on this rant about this? How did we get here?
we're talking about the bean.
Yes, I know, but you were asking about the show or about that episode, and now all of a sudden we're ranting about this. Or, well, I'm ranting.
It's all got something to do with their whole thing because Anish Kapoor, that's his art.
Oh, yeah, you asked me about the episode. So I'm going to stick with, I feel like Anish Kapoor was just a douchebag. He just seems like a douchebag.
That's where we got on this rant because we were talking
Yes.
about the pet.
Yes. So I feel like he is just a douchebag. And just a mean person who is now like so wealthy that he has forgotten normal people. He is at that time where he's forgotten what it is to be like a beginner artist or stuff like that. He just, whatever. I dismiss him. He takes up no thought in my brain.
But
And
you're going
then-
to name a pet after him.
But it has nothing to do with his. I can't
I know
help
you're
it
not
that a
naming it after
douchebag
him.
has a cool name. Oh, to make it better, I'll make it Anish Kelly Kapoor. How about that?
We have to have an Office reference in every episode, so there we go. Check.
And then with Simple,
He was very petty with everything too, but it was a funny petty. It was
but-
smart and funny.
it was smart and funny. But I feel like he is a little too sensitive. I mean, a sensitive artist, obviously. That sounds silly for me to say because that is what they're known for. But I feel like he needs to, if he made it funnier, if he didn't come across so like, about it
Mm-hmm.
and just was like, just made it funny where, haha, I'm going to show you. Oh, you want the black is black, huh? Okay. Well, here you go, sucker. I think his whole thing of him Anish Kapoor not being allowed to buy his stuff would be funnier if it was just a joke, knowing full well, obviously, he's going to be able to go on and buy it if he wants to.
Which he did.
And he did. I just feel like Simple is he takes it a little too seriously. Where if you take it more as a joke, it just makes Anish Kapoor look even stupider.
I mean, I
Because
feel
he's
like it
being so
draws
serious.
attention to Anish Kapoor because his disclaimer, which I have here, says, by adding this product to your cart, you confirm you're not Anish Kapoor, you're in no way affiliated to Anish Kapoor, you're not purchasing this item on behalf of Anish Kapoor or an associate of Anish Kapoor. To the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, this paint will not make its way into the hands of Anish Kapoor. So in his disclaimer, he's got 5 5 times he references Anish Kapoor. And if nobody knows who Anish Kapoor is, they're going to be like, wow,
Yes.
who is this person?
Who is this person? I'm going to look him up. But
And-
also, they're going to be like, wow, Anish Kapoor is such a cool name. I'm going to name a pet after him or my kid.
And then they'll be like, wow, the bean in Chicago is amazing. I'm going to go look at it.
No, they're not going to say that part. They're going to be like, okay. What? And be as confused as me. He's just, to me, if you're a good artist, which I do think Simple is a good artist, I feel like you're going to look at what Anish Kapoor does and kind of be like, how are you selling that for millions of dollars while I'm over here, quote unquote, starving artist?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be offended for that reason. Not really the blackest black, which now there is a blacker black. So whatever. I think Simple needs to get a little bit more of a sense of humor. Can we talk about what came out of that episode though? That was so funny and that I loved.
But before we go there,
Uh-huh.
I want to just for reference. So if you're saying that if I told you I spent $1 million on any of Anish Kapoor's art, like the bean or the sky mirror, you would be mad.
What kind of a stupid question is that? Yes, I'd be mad.
But what if it's worth $2 million in 10 years? Would you still be mad?
Oh, yes, I would be mad.
Because
at something
you have to
so
recognize
dumb.
a lot of people buy art for the investment of it,
They
not
do.
necessarily they like it.
I guess I would never be a good investor in art then.
You know who was an investor in art? Bill Gross.
And the Clark brothers that we
And
did
the
an
Clark
episode
brothers.
about. I would be like the Clark brothers who were very picky about what art they did, both with different tastes. I would have been like them. I would have been super picky, and if I didn't like it, I would be like, I'm not investing in you.
Do you happen to remember the punishment from that episode?
The punishment
From the Clark brothers?
Yes,
It was
I remember.
What was it again? It was a painting.
It was.
I came up with it. I should remember.
It was where the older Clark brother, who always would say how the younger Clark brother's wife was not aging well, and he loved that she was not aging well so much that he wrote about it in his diary, that he got a painting of her delivered to him every single year, and he had to display them in his house so that he basically would end up with like however many years it was
Right.
of pictures staring at him of this woman that he had great disdain for.
I liked that punishment.
That was
I thought that was a very fitting punishment for that
you.
episode.
You always had really good punishments. But going back to our Anish Kapoor
Sorry.
and the Simple, can we talk about what happened? Are we allowed to say what happened?
Does it matter if we say what happened?
I don't know.
I don't know that anybody will really find it as humorous as us, but go
How
ahead.
would you not find that humorous?
Let's share the story.
If it happened to somebody else, I would find it funny.
Go ahead. Let's share it.
That Simple tweeted at us
He did after the episode.
after the episode came out, but then he took it back. So we only got to see what was on the notification. Well, you got to see what was on the notification, and then you, without thinking about it, not taking a picture first because you were so excited because it was so funny, clicked on it, and then it disappeared. And
It was gone already.
We didn't get to see what the full tweet was.
It had something to do about naming someone after the pet Anish Kapoor. It was something about that. That's all I saw.
I just like that he tweeted at us. And then we were able, you tweeted at him a couple times about maybe coming on the show, and he acted like maybe.
And then he ghosted us.
But we knew he was just doing it to save face. Which, of course, I'm like, of course we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think it would be funny. I think that I offended him because you were definitely more about Simple. And
I was complimenting his
You
petty.
were complimenting him, and I was just like, no, he's an idiot.
Well, I wasn't complimenting him. I was complimenting his petty because it was smart and funny, in my opinion.
I'm not saying that it wasn't smart and funny, but I still.
But you definitely
still
were
was
hard.
Like,
You were definitely
no,
harder on him.
And I think he got his feelings hurt.
Yes, he did. Assuming. And then he blamed it on his assistant. Oh, yeah, contact my assistant.
Contact my assistant, who is never going to get back to you. What if his assistant doesn't even exist?
Or what if the assistant's been trying to get in touch with us and they think we're ghosting them?
Yeah, that's not happening. Because we definitely would have done it.
Still would
Anyway.
love to have him on the show.
Yes, it would be amazing. I wish he would come on the show. I wish that he would show his lighter side. I wish he would make fun of Anish Kapoor, make fun of himself a little bit. It would make him a lot more endearing in his quest to one-up Anish Kapoor.
And that brings up a good point, what you just said about people being willing to make fun of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think every single petty person that we've talked about here, not one of them can see themselves for who they are or laugh about something they did or say, wow, yeah, that was really ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I think every single person just doesn't even know what they're doing. It's just a part of their life.
Well, yeah, a lot of petty people.
Like there's incidents that happen, but I think every single person and story we've talked about, it's like their life. That is, especially when they're dealing with another person, that is, it just nonstop.
Yes.
Not
And
just
that's
a
why
one-off.
usually their lives are so hectic and chaotic. And I'm like, oh, I do not want that. But I definitely want to talk about it. And I want to know every detail. I want to know it all. I love it.
You do.
I don't want it for myself. That would be terrible.
You know what? I think one of the lowest petty things that we talked about was in my episode about the Dassler brothers,
Mhm.
the Adidas and Puma,
Uh-huh.
and how they tried to sell each other out as Nazis.
I did enjoy it very much.
That
they
was a
did that.
very low petty. Imagine trying to convince the authorities that anybody is a Nazi that's not,
Uh-huh.
much less your own brother.
I think it's awesome.
And they both did it. Rudy's a Nazi. Addie's a Nazi. They both heard from them that their brothers were Nazis, all because they wanted to run the sneaker factory.
I guess you got to run that sneaker factory.
It's one way to get it.
I love it. So what was your favorite episode that you did?
In what sense?
Your favorite episode?
Things that I learned or
No.
just the research or
Just your favorite episode that you did. Just favorite. Pick it. No reason behind it. You just liked it.
I would say the golfer episode.
Okay, why?
Because Deschambeau and Koepka are grown men, and just the things they did were so childish to each other. You couldn't look all that stuff up and research it and read it without laughing. It was just so low, like when he was running in back of him on the interview and jumping up and down and clasping, just stomping his feet like a little kid would so that the golf spikes were really loud on the interview. And then, look at my abs. And then the dumb little tweets they had back and forth at each other, which I'm still not convinced the whole thing didn't keep going as a setup for the golf thing they did together. But
yeah, a little publicity for them.
And of course, now Deschambeau is on the Saudi golf tour.
Oh, he is?
He joined it.
Wow. Didn't Tiger Woods turn that down?
Yeah,
supposedly for
a
like
lot of money.
$800 million or something insane like that.
Deschambeau is in.
He is in. Hey, when you got abs like that, you don't worry about anybody else, okay?
Hey, Saudis, check out these abs.
Check out these
That's
abs.
how he got it. He sent a video showing his abs off.
He didn't say check out these abs. He said check out them abs.
Them abs.
Check out them abs.
I don't know. That probably was my favorite. Like you, I had so many that I really, really liked. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought them to the episodes.
Well, can I tell you what my favorite one was that you did?
Absolutely.
It was the one about, I'm going to do it. It's about what's her face against the whatchamacallit.
Oh, that one was really good.
That was your best one.
That thing that she did when she was in that place.
Yeah. And how she did that other thing.
And how she did that other thing back and reacted to what happened there. And then how all those other people did that too.
Yes. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Everyone does.
No.
Everyone's talking about that.
The Elizabeth Packard versus the mental health system.
That was a very serious episode.
It was, but it was so It was so good.
When I researched that, I really thought that you would like that one.
It's so good because there are so many instances in history that if it only takes one person sometimes to be like looking around at everybody else going, is anybody else not seeing how insane this is? And then everybody else just being like, well, what? It's just the way that it is, which drives me absolutely nuts.
And
for
bonkers.
This one person to be like, no, not only did I have to go through complete chaos and trauma, but I'm going to come out the other end saying, no, this is not okay. And I'm going to do something about it. And she did.
But let me ask you this question. If there was any men that you know that you could throw into an insane asylum just for being a man, would you?
Are they acting like a man and not understand, like not seeking to understand anything? Are they just
like the men were at
atypical?
that time where they were not trying to understand women?
You know what? I would not throw them in a mental institution because people like that, sometimes they will learn, like it has to be done to them for them to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would not want to do it just for the sheer point of like, I feel like that's what they would do. And I would not want to be anything like them.
I think in researching that, it's amazing how far women have come in relation to men and the rights that they have, but still how slow those rights have come along and how still there's not even a close comparison to women and men when it comes to just equality in so many different areas.
It's not even just that part. It's also the whole mental health system and how. So she did a huge amount to change it for the being thrown into an institution. And then like your title said, let's just take their ovaries out, which made me laugh because that seemed to be the answer to everything. Oh, let's give them a hysterectomy. Hey, fun time. Just look up why they call it a hysterectomy. I wish that we would change the name of that. How has that name kept going?
Let's take an example from Packard and we'll do something about it. We'll get the name changed.
Just drives me completely insane. But
I know somewhere you could go for that.
I need to be thrown into an insane asylum. It is sad, though. We need somebody to do the same thing with the mental health system now, because it went to where you used to go into insane asylums and not be helped. And now you're just put into jail and you're still not helped. It's like, oh, we're still just as terrible. Great. All of her hard work for naught.
Still a long way to go.
So far to go.
It's come a long way from back then.
It has in certain aspects, but there are so much. At least there's not. Well, there still is. There's still people who are like, oh, if I talk about it, I feel like I'm going to get that stigma on me. But I think that there's enough people who say, no, you're not, because I don't care. I don't care who the person is. At one point in their life, they have had some sort of situation where they've had to face their demons or they've had to go through a traumatic experience that is a mental health crisis. So shut up to the person who's making fun of the person who's saying it. Recognize that everybody in their life is going to deal with it and go away. I think there's enough people that stand up for it now. And that's a difference, but it still needs so much work.
Well, I was thinking too, just thinking about the conditions that women were in back then in those asylums. You know, how she went in there and took like however many days it was just to wash people because they were just covered in filth.
Oh yeah, once you put them in there, you forget about them.
But people have rights now, which obviously is going to help to make the situation better by treating a person like a human versus some crazy animal that they just lock in a cage and forget about.
Let's treat them terribly, and then when they act horrible, let's be shocked by it, guys.
Treat them terribly and then be amazed that they're not getting better.
When they get more insane, let's be just shocked and appalled.
We'll just take their ovaries out and see if that fixes it.
And sedate them heavily, and then they're cured. It's great. I love it.
That was a lot of interesting research, and I wish I had had the time to read the book that went along with it. It's still on my list to read. It's linked in the episode. But
I would have read that book and then like 3 others.
You were definitely the harder researcher.
I like to have all of the facts and then double check my facts and make sure my facts are correct.
Which one, and this kind of falls in the DeChambeau and Kepka episode, but which one do you think was the most fun episode as far as just ridiculous back and forth between people? Like that one was real serious.
Oh God, for back and forth. Ooh, that is a hard one because.
But it's got to be, just fun, petty. Just you laugh at it. There's nothing
fun
serious
and
about
ridiculous. For that one, I think it could.
Because I've got one.
It would go either the Betty Davis episode, but I feel like the one that I just like laughed the most at because their petty was to another level was Martha Stewart.
That was mine.
Gwyneth Paltrow. Because Martha Stewart, she killed it.
You are a Martha Stewart fan.
I am, apparently. It came out in the episode. I secretly love her, I guess.
That was my pick, too. Just how silly and funny I don't know. It wasn't on like a ha-ha. I mean, it was ha-ha funny. I don't even know how to describe it.
No, it was ha-ha funny.
It was just a fun petty, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it.
When
just
you know the backstory.
Yes.
That is what makes it so funny. Like, what are you doing?
And again,
I don't know, but I love it.
2 adults. Martha Stewart is an older adult than Gwyneth Paltrow, and stealing bosses from each other and making cakes after each other.
Well, that was Gwyneth Paltrow making a cake.
But Martha Stewart
did her little
article that she did
about the uncoupling.
No, she did conscious coupling, making fun of the fact that that Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin got a divorce.
Yes. And I loved it.
I would divorce him too because I can't stand him.
I've never understood your hatred for that band or him, but
hey, I do remember when that episode came out and people heard that I was very anti-Coldplay and anti-Chris Martin.
Oh,
did
you got
get support.
Some support. Okay.
There are people on my side.
There's always going to be somebody who, like, when they hear a band, they're just like, I don't know why, and I can't explain it, but I can't stand them.
I don't know if it's the band as much as him.
What's your reasoning behind it?
I don't have any. It's illogical.
All right.
I just do not like him. I will say, or I did want to ask you about Mark Twain, which we just did that episode.
Yep.
What was your thoughts of him? Because he
Mark
was very
Twain?
petty.
I loved his petty. I feel like the only thing that you could learn from Mark Twain on some of his petty arguments is he shows a really good mentality of why you should have more of an open mind. For somebody who was a writer and for how many things he did that was like stuff that people did not do at that time and thoughts that he had for people like that people didn't have at that time. Like he should have been a little bit more open-minded for like thinking ahead, thinking to the future. He is a very good example of why you have to always be thinking ahead in time and not stuck as to, oh, well, it's this way now, so it should always be this way. I mean, I get the whole rule of it. Like, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm. But it's not always going to be not broken forever.
Yes. You have to be willing to change with the times. If you don't, you become obsolete.
And there was just so much irony in all the things he complained about in his letters, like especially about the fact of wasting time and
he wasted so much time doing it.
So much time.
The best part about it was that he did what most petty people do. They're completely clueless over how they are.
Which we talk about
it in the episode, like how he's just so clueless, and he. Ooh,
nice little thunderstorm out there.
he chastised that secretary so ferociously for something that he did, in my opinion, was a way worse. All because he didn't like the post office. Crazy.
And again, if this is the first time for whatever reason you're listening to our podcast, you're 100% lost, go back and listen to the episodes. You'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, don't start with this.
We're
episode.
happy if it's your first episode. Welcome. But go back and listen to the other 24 episodes.
I'm not happy.
Well, one of us is.
Yeah. I guess you are. All right. Since you are not going to say it, I got to ask you, I guess. What?
Well, I was going to ask you, do you think, what would you say was, did I ask you what the most ridiculous petty was?
No, you did not ask me
what would you say was the most ridiculous of all the episodes we did? Whether your story, my story. Because I have a very specific one that was the most ridiculous.
Well, why don't you say yours first?
All right. So mine was, again, talking about Bill Gross and his wife, Sue, when they got divorced. And the whole custody battle over the cats, and the cats going back and forth between the houses, and having to have a vet check them before they went to the house, having to have a vet check them after they left the house. I would say that 100% is the most ridiculous petty, again, between two adults, that we talked about in any of our episodes. I don't think some of them were low, but that one was just so crazy.
So I would
petty.
say, yes, that one is right up there. The only other one that I think could compare in ridiculousness was our very last one with William Shatner getting mad at Nimoy for getting to the food first.
That was good
I
too.
cannot get over that. How much food was Nimoy eating that Shatner was that upset that he got to the food first? I think that is so weird. You're a weirdo, Shatner. I hope he hears this. And he knows that he is such a weirdo for getting so upset about that. It's so weird. I want to invite him over. Oh my God, I want to have him and Martha Stewart over. And Martha Stewart is going to make the most magical meal in the entire world. And I'm going to make sure that I have just other random people there. And I'm going to be like, yes, William Shatner, I just want you to wait till everybody else gets the food first. You go stand over there. Go. And you watch everybody else get the food first. And you know who would be the first person to get the food? Takei. Takei, come on down. Get your food. Come on, George Takei. You get the food first. Shatner, you stay over there. You stay.
So you're talking to him like a mixture of a dog and a kid.
Mostly just a child.
Adults get to go first. Stay.
God, I hated that when I was a kid too. Why do the adults get all the food first? It's like when my stepfather would buy steak. No, my stepfather would buy steak for him and my mom, and then he would buy us hot dogs.
Were they at least beef hot dogs?
No, they were terrible hot dogs.
Or chicken and pork hot dogs?
I don't know what kind of hot dogs they were. All I know is that is the stupidest thing. And I vowed as a child that for the love of God, when I get older and I have kids, I will never buy steak for me and hot dogs for them, only to have all of my kids not like steak. And they prefer hot dogs.
Would you put your stepfather...
What a twist. What a twist of fate.
Would you put your ex... Now you know why he did it. He was making sure that you liked steak when you were an adult.
He knew that we liked steak. That was just him and his
Would you send him to an insane
Yes,
asylum?
I would send him to an insane asylum. And I would say, remove his ovaries. And then when they were like, I don't think he has any, I'm like, well, keep searching until you find him.
Harsh.
Yeah, but he deserves it.
Those were, I was thinking, I think would be one of the most epic petty feuds would be William Shatner and Martha Stewart. I feel like they could really get into it.
You think so?
Yes.
About what, though?
Anything. We need to create it. I would love to see the back and forth between the two of them.
Maybe we could talk her into having a one-woman show, and she could just talk about how much she loved Star Trek, but that it was ruined by William Shatner. And then she could give a rundown of how each episode would have been better minus William Shatner.
I wish William Shatner, how he came out on YouTube with his whole video about, I don't know why I didn't get invited to the wedding, everything else. How he went on YouTube. I wish that he had a feud with every single person, or with a person every single time a new social media came out.
Mm.
And then he put a video out. First he does Facebook, then he does Instagram. Then when TikTok comes out, he has a video, or, some clips of himself explaining whatever feud he's going on with now. And then he Snapchats at people. Whatever comes out, that would be amazing if he timed his feuds with every single new social media app that comes out.
I feel like he could pick enough. He has enough people he could pick from to have feuds.
I guarantee you there's enough people that would feud with him.
Probably. All right, so now you have to pick what was my favorite episode that I did that didn't bore you out of your mind because it was history.
I wouldn't say that I got bored by your
You
episodes.
got bored, and then you would often get lost in the deets.
Well, I get lost in any sort of details.
Mm,
You know that.
I do.
I'll fall asleep no matter what's happening. Just get lost in it. I'm not a history person. Let's see. If I had to choose one of your episodes, trying to think about which ones you did, the favorite one that you did that I liked the most.
I picked my favorite one you did was the Elizabeth Packard.
I would say probably either your Betty Davis or Dolly Parton.
Really?
Yeah.
I would not see you picking
Which one would you think I would
either
pick?
of those. I don't even know. The Dolly Parton one was really good. You probably like that one because Dolly Parton was like, yeah, I'm not petty, so I'm not doing this. It was refreshing.
It was just an interesting episode.
I don't know which one I thought you would pick. I guess I just didn't think it was that one.
I thought that was a really good one.
It was a good one.
It's a good story. We got some good laughs out of it. We learned all about how much rhinestone suits weigh, which is something I've always wondered about.
Stupid rhinestone. Oh,
And then
God.
I never knew anything about Betty Davis and Joan Crawford.
I don't even think you knew who they were.
I knew Betty Davis,
Mm.
but I didn't know anything about that feud. So just learning that, now I'm all hip and know things that other people know.
Because you know about
I've had
Betty
all
Davis
sorts,
and
ever
Joan
since that episode
Crawford?
came out, I've had all sorts of people talking about it, and I've just jumped into conversations. I've been like, oh, well, did you know this happened and this happened?
Incorrect.
Yeah, that never happened.
Incorrect. So then,
If I ever get in that circle of people that are talking about Betty Davis and Joan Crawford,
well,
I
they're
need to step
like
back
90
and examine
years
myself.
old. Like, if you ever do meet Shatner, you'd have something to talk
He's
about.
92.
You could be like, how about the Betty Davis, huh? Huh?
It's going to be an interesting dinner when he's here.
He would like that.
Maybe to keep him away from eating first, I'll go in the corner too, and I will sit there and talk with him about Betty Davis.
No, he does not get anyone.
No one can even talk to him?
No, he doesn't get any entertainment. Nothing. He gets to watch everybody get Martha Stewart's amazing food while he just stands there and watch.
Wow. Glad you're not my mom.
Yeah. That's what he gets. That annoyed me so much. So weird.
And if
I
you
actually
have
kind
not,
of really felt bad for Nimoy when we were
Yeah.
watching that video.
if you haven't watched the video of the two of them talking about the bike and how Shatner was stealing his bike 4 times, yes, he laughs about it. Shatner laughs more than Nimoy, but Nimoy, you can tell, was trying to like play it off a little bit, but you could tell that he was definitely annoyed by it.
He was genuinely annoyed. And I don't know what he was talking about when he was saying, that he was in pain. I don't know if like physically something had happened. He had hurt himself or whatever. But so to me, it seemed like Nimoy, riding a bike was more comfortable for him. Plus,
Well, he didn't have to walk around the studio.
well, he didn't have to walk around. Plus, it was easier and quicker for him to get back because he had more makeup than everybody else. So in my head, what he did, even though he said it because Spock would say it, it really is the more logical choice. And then whatever ailment he was talking about, whatever happened where he was physically in pain, so riding a bike was better. So to me, like, here you have this person, this jack wagon of a person who is supposed to be your friend. And instead of being like, hey, that's really great. I'm glad that you get to go there, eat your food, and then get back since you have to do more makeup than we do. It is only fair. Instead, he is a complete douche about it and is like, I'm going to instead be mad that you're getting the food first. And it just seemed like Nimoy was genuinely like, how are you my friend? How are you going to sit there and say that you're my friend when this is happening and this is your reaction to it? Like, when he was saying, no, this is a mean person. Like, I felt like Nimoy was really not. Yeah, I don't feel like he was joking at all. I think he is like, no, you're a jerk.
But he was that person that I think everybody knows that does something. Okay, it was probably not the smartest thing you do. It was kind of mean, kind of funny. Don't do it again. And then that person just keeps doing things to just push the buttons.
So
and they think they're funny, but the only person that laughs is them. Yeah. And then they still laugh about it years later. Not recognized. And that's a perfect example of someone not recognizing, yeah, that was really petty and stupid. It was funny at the time, but looking back, it was not the right thing to do. I don't think Shatner would ever say that.
Yeah.
Of course, he tried to deny that it ever happened to begin with, so that says a lot about him, too.
Yeah, that's why I would make him stand in the corner and watch.
So it was a very good first season. We learned a lot.
We did. And I had another question I was going to ask.
Well, ask away.
Because then we went off on this tangent.
Okay. I hope you get it back.
I don't remember.
We'll save that one for season 2 wrap-up.
No, I'm not going to remember then.
When you remember it, you're going to write it down, and we're going to put it in our season 2 notes.
Well, anyway, so are we going to share our exciting news of what we're doing?
No, because we're not done with our recap yet.
Oh, God. Well, you sounded like you were wrapping up the wrap-up.
I was trying to come to a nice, pretty conclusion with a bow.
That's what it is. It's something like that. Yes, it's when Liz Lemon has to do the wrap-up, remember? She has to do the recap, the year recap for Jack's wife, who was in prison in China, or remember, and she has to do that that whole thing.
Okay, you got it.
I knew it would come to me. It's been driving
45 minutes later, you got
nuts.
I knew you were talking about that all along. I just didn't want to tell you.
You did not. I even said 30 Rock. I think it was on 30 Rock. And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you were so... Do you remember that time they were talking about this? All right, but to wrap up our season, I'm so happy that you remembered that. So that's the first thing we're going to do to wrap the season. I'm very happy for you. Mm-hmm. Secondly, to wrap it up in a nice bow, we have an award to give out.
Oh, okay.
The Bill Gross Petty Award for season 1.
Please tell me that we're giving it to Bill Gross.
Wait, first of all, we're not even close to done.
Oh, God.
We forgot to talk about emojis. We cannot wrap up season 1 without talking about the emojis.
The emojis.
So we had Elon Musk,
yes,
who's probably the worst tweeter of all, despite how proficient he is and how much, or not proficient, but despite how much he uses Twitter and tweets, he's probably one of the worst people we researched on Twitter.
So I'm assuming that he just uses emojis because you're limited on the characters that you can
get 160 characters.
Yes.
You had 159 more characters you could have used.
Yes, he did. So that is why he can never use that excuse. That was what I was going to say.
And he's been on Twitter long enough and done enough on it to know that that's...
Oh, my God. How did I not mention this when we were talking about Elon Musk? So that whole thing that was trending on wherever, just everywhere, I saw it everywhere, was Elon Musk shirtless. And all of the I was laughing so hard over the memes that came out of that. And then the one that was the best one, which if I can find it, you'll have to put this, like, connect it to our recap, was a picture of Jeff Bezos without a shirt on. And it said, ooh, Elon Musk, you got some catching up to do. And Jeff Bezos is very much in shape and not as white as a piece of paper.
It doesn't look like Elon Musk has ever taken his shirt off or ever like had a light on in his house to get some sort of color on his skin.
It is so funny, the stuff that came out of that. I was laughing pretty hard at some of them. I don't know how I forgot to bring that up.
I don't know.
But it was pretty funny.
So we had Elon Musk.
Yes, with the emojis.
The ghost with his emojis.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's one of our stickers. He tweeted at Jeff Bezos and called him a copycat, but used the cat emoji because apparently typing out cat was too long.
Yes.
So he used an emoji instead.
No, you know what came up? He was typing copycat, and when he typed cat, that cute little face of that cat came up, and he went, that would be really funny if I used that. And then he clicked it, and he's like, that's what I'm going to do. And then he sent it. That's what happened.
Elon Musk, are you here?
Yep. I just told you how
that
it
was,
happened.
Again, a spot-on impression, which you've had great impressions this season.
I always have good impressions.
And then the last episode we did with William Shatner, when he tweeted at George Takei and used the pig emoji. Who do you think had the worst use of emoji? Let's go with the emoji award. Do you give it to Elon Musk or do you give it to William
Shatner? Because was he calling himself a pig? I'm so confused. Was he calling George Takei a pig?
He was calling George Takei a pig.
Was he saying George Takei thinks I'm a pig? I don't understand it. I didn't like it.
At least Musk's made sense.
You know what? When Martha Stewart comes over to make that meal, she is going to make a full roasted pig. The whole thing with the apple in the mouth.
And then George Takei is going to look over at William Shatner and be like,
yeah,
you want to talk about a pig?
This is you. As
and then he's going to do his laugh.
Oh, that was terrible. That was a
spot
vampire.
On impression again of Count Chocula.
That was a vampire. Oh, apparently I think George Takei is a vampire. Sorry, George Takei.
George Takei, Count Chocula. Who can tell the difference nowadays?
Apparently I can't.
So we are giving the award to William Shatner.
Yes, because I didn't like it.
We're going to have to really search hard for emojis. It might be a one-time award.
Might be.
Bill Shatner, you got our emoji award. Congratulations.
That's exciting for him. While he stands in
I'll
the
tweet
corner.
at him and let him know.
He can hold his award while he's standing. Oh my God. It will be an award dinner for him. Thrown by Martha Stewart, who smells amazing.
And Gwyneth Paltrow can come and bring candles that she makes.
No.
Some sort of scented candles to make fun of William Shatner.
No. Gwyneth Paltrow is not allowed in my Martha Stewart
I want her
space.
here just so we can make fun of Chris Martin.
No. If you want that to happen, you are going to have your own event with Gwyneth Paltrow because Martha Stewart is not going to be bothered by Gwyneth Paltrow.
Fair.
She can make a weird candle to send as a gift if she wants.
All right, so Bill will get a candle from Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, but she's not going to be in my Martha Stewart
All right.
space. No.
As long as her candle is here.
Mm-mm.
And he has to smell it the whole time he's standing in the corner.
Yes, that will be his award. He'll have his award in one hand.
She has to make one.
He'll have the candle. It will be lit so that he can smell it. It can't be anything with her vagina, though.
She's going to have one that smells like stolen bicycle. It's a stolen bicycle candle, and that's what he has to sit there and hold while he's waiting for everyone else to eat. His
Nimoy's a stolen bike. That's what it's called.
Nimoy's stolen bicycle candle.
And he has to stand there with it lit, holding his award, watching all of us, starting with George Takei, eating the food.
The roasted pig.
This is making me feel really good about myself.
I thought you were going to say hungry.
No.
All right, so Bill Gross Award.
Yes, Bill Gross Award.
If anyone didn't listen to that episode, we came up with an award for the pettiest person because he wanted an award named after him that was part of his leaving Pacific whatever investment company it was. He wanted an award named after him. So they gave him an award. And so we've taken that and used it as the Bill Gross Petty Award. So who would you say gets the Bill Gross Petty Award for season 1?
This is a really, really, really tough.
It's not easy.
I think that what we need to do is pause.
Okay.
We need to do one more Petty Roundtable. This
We'll
will be the
announce
last
it
one.
at the Petty Roundtable.
We need to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
I have some ideas, and I have ideas why. And then when we get to the Petty Roundtable, our
We'll
last
announce
one
our
for
winner.
the season, we can announce the winner.
Fair enough.
All right. Let's
Everyone,
go.
please hold. Okay, final Petty Roundtable of the season.
It is after much debate.
And it's our award show Petty Roundtable. Who would have thought after one episode that we would have had an award show at the end of our season?
Me.
It's the fun of not having a script. You just go with it. See where it takes you.
Can't have a script. That's boring.
True. So we have come up with 2 awards. The first one we had already come up with, the Bill Gross Petty Award.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get the second one out of the way because this is a new one. And we're naming it the Dolly Parton Trailblazer Award. And so each season we will come up with a person that takes Dolly Parton's example and is not petty towards people. Doesn't go as low as the person does.
I like to call it opposite petty. You do not like that.
I
like
don't.
it.
But we can call it opposite petty in parentheses.
Mm.
But anyways, we are calling the Dolly Parton Trailblazer Award. And of course, the first person to get it this year is Dolly Parton because
Gotta be Dolly
it's
Parton.
named after her. Although the Bill Gross Award,
He doesn't deserve it. She deserves it. She is a trailblazer on all fronts. Like,
But if
she's just
anybody-
amazing.
if
all the
anybody
way
wants to
around.
know how to not be petty, listen to that episode and do everything that she does.
Yes.
Just don't stoop to the level. And if you want to be petty, we'll talk about you. It's fine.
Maybe they'll
You'll just
like
never
that.
win that. You'll just never win that award.
Ah,
Instead, you'll be up for our Bill Gross Petty Award.
which is exciting.
And we have 5 nominees for it.
Mm-hmm.
After much debate, hours locked in a room, sequestered, talking about each individual candidate. So we have our 5. We have 6 of the final nominees for our Season 1 Bill Gross Petty Award. First nominee is William Shatner for his role in the Shatner Nimoy Takei Petty feud.
Which, if he wins this, he gets the emoji and
He would be
Bill
a
Gross.
double award winner,
he'd have to stand in the corner with 2 awards.
smelling the Leonard Nimoy bicycle calendar.
So one under his arm.
Candle, not calendar.
Yeah, so he's got to have one under his arm, holding one in his hand, holding the candle.
Well, he sits at our petty round table smelling the candle.
No, he's not allowed to sit.
Oh,
he's
he's not
standing
allowed to
in
sit.
the corner.
Okay. All right. He's in the corner.
My goodness.
So that's nominee number 1, William Shatner. Nominee number 2, Stuart Semple. Because of his funny petty, and his smart petty. He was a unanimous nomination. We both agreed.
We'll just end because he tweeted at us and then erased it. Because we literally in
So
the
there were
episode
multiple
say,
fronts.
we say how it's always great to go on Twitter and then tweet something and then erase it. And then he did that.
It was all
I
fun.
love
All
it.
fun and games until you delete a tweet at us.
It's too bad, too.
So he is nominee number 2. Number 3, Joan Crawford, for her role in the Joan Crawford Betty Davis feud. And what was the
Mainly-
specific incident you were nominating her for?
Mainly because when in Rosemary's Baby, when Betty Davis had to pick her up out of the bed and drag her out of the room and she was unconscious, so she
Mhm.
was already dead weight, Joan Crawford took it up a notch and put a weight belt on to make herself even heavier. And so in the scene when Betty Davis is struggling, she is truly struggling, and then she threw her back out. Which is so hilarious.
Very petty sequence of events in a very petty person. So Joan Crawford, posthumously congratulations on being
And
nominated.
I just want to say that if this was an actual award show, like we would be watching that clip of her dragging her out of the room. God, I wish we could do that.
Would people be cheering for that? I'm trying to figure out what our audience would be.
I think.
Would they be booing it, cheering it?
I think that they would be like looking at each other and being like, yeah, it's freaking petty and chuckling. She was pretty petty. I see why she's up for that award.
So we won't have people hooting and hollering. There'll just be a bunch of
yeah.
I like it.
And that's the voice they would whisper in.
If you want to buy tickets to our award show next year, buy them online.
And then after the clip is done,
small little golf clap. A very passive-aggressive clap. All right, so that is number 3. Number 4 is Elizabeth Packard's husband, and we decided not even to say his real name.
No, he should always be known as Elizabeth Packard's husband.
And he is getting nominated for sending her to an insane asylum twice, locking her in a bedroom, taking her kids away. But of course, in the end, he lost everything because of the lawsuits that happened, and she changed laws to take away all the rights that people like him had over their wives.
I did say I would name a pit bull after him, though. I think I have a problem with gross people naming animals after them. You're a despicable person. I'm going to name a dog after you.
Yeah, you might want to reconsider that one.
Nah. If it's a good name, I'll do it.
All right, number 5, Bill Gross. You name an award after him, you got to at least nominate him. Of course, the instance, which we already talked about, was the fact that him and his wife were fighting over custody over cats. Cats. I wish they had been arguing over custody over a pig, because that would have just been amazing.
If they had only had a pet pig.
We would have all the pigs this season. And number 6, Kate's favorite of all time, Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart's number 1 fan. She's got posters of Martha Stewart over the bed now.
Yep.
She only buys Martha Stewart home stuff.
I wasn't going to tell you this, but I reached out to Gwyneth Paltrow and I had her make me a candle that smelled like Martha Stewart.
That's why it smells so good in here. That candle smells like I think Martha Stewart would smell like.
Yeah.
What was that from The Office when he smelled Ryan? He smells like what? Was it Pierce Brosnan?
I think so.
Or rich person. I don't know. He said something about that. Just reminded me. So we have our 6. Martha Stewart, Bill Gross, Elizabeth Packard, Stuart Semple, Joan Crawford. Elizabeth Packard's husband. Sorry, they're never going to have me back next year. Joan Crawford, William Shatner. And so who is the winner of our Season 1, 2022 Bill Gross Petty Award?
This was really hard. I fought for Martha Stewart. Who did you fight for again? Shatner. But it goes to Elizabeth Packard's husband.
And on the trophy, it will not have his name. It will only say Elizabeth Packard's husband, so that he is always remembered for how terrible he was, how petty he was, and for an example for man or a woman to never treat another human being like that.
Correct. He needs to go down in history. It's being remembered that way.
It's one thing to be petty with your words, but to be petty with your actions like he was is definitely on another level.
He was a terrible person.
So
it's going to be our life goal now to make sure everybody knows what a terrible person he is.
So congratulations, Elizabeth Packard's husband. You are the first winner, and on the trophy, that's what your name will be. And that will wrap up our first season of Let's Talk Petty.
Congratulations to Dolly Parton.
And to Dolly Parton. We'll see who wins that next year.
For being...
Well, let's answer that. Are we coming back for Season 2?
We are going to come back for Season 2.
And what are we going to do on Season 2? We've teased it.
I am still not a fan. But we will have video of us recording.
We're not even going to tease it. It's actually going to happen.
Not a fan.
You'll get to see the faces that Kate makes, the faces that I make. You'll get to see the tears roll down her eyes when she gets laughing. You'll get to see us walk from our regular podcast table to our petty round table,
That's
which
gonna
you'll
be
be in
such a
for a
disappointment.
big surprise next year.
Such a disappointment.
We may have to change a couple things up. Petty Roundtable may be a season 1 thing, but it was fun.
We're going to switch up. And then our other exciting news.
Part of the reason that we're stopping season 1 where we are is because we're going to be doing some traveling. We're taking a road trip across the country and back.
It's an epic road trip for our 25th wedding anniversary / our middle child graduating from high school, because we always take them on a trip.
So we are going on a 2-week trip, and we are actually going to be recording while we're on the road in the cities that we stop in, and hopefully having a mini episode story that ties in with the city that we're in.
And if we can't find an episode that goes, or a story that goes with what city we're in, we're just going to still just tell a petty story.
We'll just do a random one and say, hey, we're in wherever we are. Here's your story.
Which I do think this is really, really funny. And it just happened to work out this way because of the route that we're taking. But I do think it's really funny that our first stop is going to be in Chicago, and we're going to be able to see the Bean.
And we have our shirts that we made. We actually bought a couple, and we will wear them and take a picture.
I can't wait.
It's going to be a fun time.
It's going to be great.
So we will still be putting out mini episodes every Friday. Those are pretty easy for us to put out. But we're just taking a little bit of a sabbatical for a couple months on doing some research. But we will have all sorts of stories. We're still going to be doing research. We're just not going to feel rushed to record them.
Yeah.
Because for various reasons, like
Only
you getting
because-
sick with COVID, that we had to use a
getting
lot of
sick-
our pre-recorded episodes.
Yes. Well, getting sick, really bad. Then
Yes.
getting COVID.
So that took all of our backlog of episodes and got rid of all of them. So we'll take some time, do some research, get some more in the bank, and then we'll come back with a season 2, which we'll announce, of course, on social media. We'll announce when our first episode of season 2 will be back, and on one of our mini episodes when we're ready. We'll spill the beans, and then you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you can find on our website, so that you're ready for all of the amazing video antics that Kate will give you. Because I'm pretty boring on video, but Kate is another story.
I feel like I'm going to regret this greatly.
Nah.
I'm already having regrets.
Well, you already put it out there, so it's happening. That is it. So go to our website, letstalkpetty.com. You can listen to all of season 1. You can continue to listen to our mini episodes. Keep subscribed.
And you'll have
go
new
to
art.
YouTube. Yes, we will be putting some new stickers and
Updated.
artwork.
From our episodes.
So you'll
'Cause there's
have-
some really cool ones. The Johnny Depp one you did, and Amber Heard. I love it so much.
So you will have some new fun art that represents a lot of our episodes and instances from season 1, things that we thought were really funny, and just things that Kate likes because she wants me to make it.
God, I almost want you to go out of this episode with your Johnny Depp impression of him at the trial.
Oh boy, I'd probably have to watch it again.
You would. I should have. If I'd been thinking, I would have had you watch him again so that you could do it again, because that was so funny and I loved it because we didn't talk about them at all.
I'm not even going to bother trying.
No.
I'm never going to top what I did, which wasn't super great, but it was pretty good.
Great. It was pretty great.
So thank you for listening. Come back, tell others to listen to season 1 while they're waiting for season 2. Get them to subscribe, and we will see you when season 2 starts. But of course, we'll still be talking to you on our mini episodes.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening. Please be sure and give our show a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. And be sure to follow and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.